Yo, what is up guys? It is Samool back again with another epic 7 treasure pool video for you guys today. And today we're going to be talking about the new Mystic rotation that is featuring 4 ML 5-star units, as well as a new ML 4-star unit in Remnant Violet, otherwise known as Peacemaker Furious. Now we're going to be talking about which units you're going to want to pull for, and which of the 4 ML 5-stars are going to be the best of the bunch. So starting off, we're going to start with the unit that I think is the best on this list, and honestly, it's not just what I think. I'm pretty sure 99.9% of the population that play Epic 7 will also agree. This unit is going to be Conquerius, guys. This unit is extremely powerful in PvP. She is one of the best units, if not the best unit for PvP, arguably. She's going to be used pretty much everywhere, right? You can use her in arena defense, offense, you can use her in Guild Wars offense, very frequently used in defense there as well. And in Worlds Arena, she's a highly contested pick. You'll see her first picked extremely often and also banned a lot as well in the pre-bans. So Conquerius, guys, what does she actually do? Her S3 is going to be a Vigor buff to all the allies on her side. For 2 turns, Vigor is going to give you attack and defense, and it cannot be dispelled. So this will make it so that your team will do more damage and also take less damage. She'll also decrease buff durations of all enemies by 1 turn, and then also put a decreased attack buff on the enemy, which will cripple them. So this is very powerful. Like, this S3 is so OP because of the fact that you're making your team a lot more tankier while giving them a small boost in damage with that attack portion from the Vigor buff. The defense buff and also the decreased attack really cripples the enemy side, and it makes it so that they can't really kill your allies. Now when you S3, you'll get an extra turn, and because of that, you're going to be able to choose from your S2 and your S1, both very powerful skills as well. Looking at our S2 cover, it is going to be a single target, decrease CR by 25%, and will also inflict redirected provoke. This will also grant a barrier to herself and the ally except for Conquerius with the highest max HP for 2 turns, and this will scale with Conquerius' max HP. So you're going to see Conquerius on a very high speed, high HP focused build, so she can take the first turn and get her S3 off, and then also S2 and give herself an ally barrier. And if you make her tanky enough and you can get off like 2 S3s, you've basically already won the game because that's how OP her S3 is. You also have her S1, which you can use after her S3. It is a single target attack that will trigger a dual attack from a random enemy or random ally. That's it. This is really powerful because if you actually just use this on a squished unit and you bring like a I don't know, like a APOC Ravi or a damage dealing unit like Spectre Tenebra, you can pretty much one-shot them. So it makes Conquerius a very big threat because of the fact that she can buff her team, she can disable enemy team with redirected provoke and decreased attack. She can also make your team tankier with barriers and defense, also cripple the enemy team as well, and also is a huge damage threat on her team on her turns because of the fact that she actually has that S1, which triggers a random dual attack. Kind of weird because the thing I noticed about her S1 is actually, you're going to notice the text is not capitalized on kneel down. I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but I think this is a typo, and I hope Smile fixes this because I have ADHD when I look at this. So yeah, just a side note. So yeah, Conquerius, guys, if you don't have her, definitely pull for her over everyone else. She's extremely broken in PvP, and in PvE, she's also very good in like areas like Ancient Inheritance and also Hall of Trials. This is an SSS tier unit. Like, you have to pull for her if you don't have her. Even if you don't have enough for Pity, it doesn't matter because Pities will carry over to the next banner for Mystic banners. Just try to get her if you can. Like, if you are on the fence on whether you want to like whale for her or not and spend money on the game, trust me, this unit is so broken and she's pretty meta proof. Like, her kit is insane. But yeah, that's just my opinion if you didn't pick her already from the Moonlight headhunting event. I'm not saying to swipe for her, but she is so annoying. Like, she's so annoying to deal with. Every time you see her on the enemy team, like, you just want to cry a little bit because she usually takes the first turn because she's very fast, and she takes the first turn, you kind of always lose most of the time. So yeah, not a lot of counters out there, and even if there are counters, there's only really like soft counters. So yeah, definitely the best unit of this bunch, and probably one of the best units, if not the best unit in PvP in the game right now. So yeah, that aside, I think the rest of the 3 units are pretty debatably, equal. But for me personally, I think the second best option after Conquerius would have to be Arbiter Village for the majority of players. Now, if you're super late game into PvP, Remnant Violet and even LQC or Little Queen Charlotte are probably the best options, but overall I think Arbiter Village is going to be the second best option, especially if you're newer to the game. If you gotten Conquerius from the headhunting event and you want to pull on this banner, Arbiter Village is the second best option because you're not going to really pick him from Moonlight Blessing anymore. Spectre Tenebri has taken the best unit slot there, but he's very good because he's a very, very good adventure farmer. He's also good against cleave teams in PvP, which is really hard to play against if you're new to the game. A lot of times, if you're new to the game, if you face off against cleave and you don't have anything faster, you just roll over and die. But if you have Arbiter Village, he's a very, very good anti-cleave unit because he can revive. S3 makes him very good at farming because of the fact that whenever you defeat an enemy, you'll get no cooldown on your S3, and this is a lot of damage, by the way. S2 makes it so that he's a very, very good anti-cleave unit because of the fact that when he dies, he will revive, get 100% CR, so basically take another turn, and also gets full focus and S3 cooldown reset, and you can just S3 right after and pretty much one-shot the enemy team. And the S1 will also make him a very good fodder farmer or adventure farmer because of the fact that it hits 2 enemies. Also very good in like Azmonak and other areas of content in PvE like Abyss and Raid. For the most part, you're going to use him in Adventure though. But yeah, if you need an AoE damage dealer, he's very, very good for PvE. And for PvP, he's very, very good against cleave teams. And I guess in early game PvP, he's very, very strong as well. Now for Remnant Violet and Little Queen Charlotte, guys, let's start with Remnant Violet. I think both of these units actually are very, very equal, or not equal, but very, very similar in the fact that they're good in PvP, only really used in PvP, but also very, very niche. Remnant Violet is a very, very good single target damage dealing unit. His S3 does crazy amounts of damage, guys. It's a single target attack that penetrates defense. This can pretty much one-shot pretty much every squish unit in the game. S2 will make it so that he's very, very annoying to fight off against. He has a evasion buff. Keep in mind, he is very useless without this evasion buff, so if he gets stripped or gets unbuffable on him, he becomes pretty squishy because of the fact that he kind of relies on his evade. But you're going to see if he evades, he gains 1 focus, and when he's at 5 focus after attacking or being attacked, he will use it all and then use his S3 on random enemy, and this will pretty much one-shot squish units like I said. S1, single target attack that has decreased hit chance, also hits very hard. You can also soul burn this to build more focus and proc your concentration as 2 passive. So this unit, super RNG heavy. Basically you have that 50% evasion and 20% from an artifact, equaling 70% chance to dodge. But when you play with him, sometimes it feels like he doesn't dodge at all, and he just ends up either losing you the game or winning the game. So very RNG heavy. If you like to annoy your opponents, he's very, very good. But for the most part, he's very hard to build as well, and only really used in PvP. Same thing with LQC, guys, only really used in PvP, but still a very powerful unit. You're going to use her as a unit to counter like dark units like Apocalypse Ravi, and even like Arbiter Village and stuff like that, and even like Meteor Cowrick, she's very good. You're going to see that her S3, it is a single target attack that will penetrate the target's defense by 50%, and when the target is a dark elemental hero, you'll do more damage and also splash that damage proportional to Little Queen Charlotte's attack to all enemies except for the target, making it so that she's pretty much a dark elemental hero counter. She also is very tanky because of her S2. You're going to see that she will decrease damage suffered from a crit, and for all allies as well, they will also take less damage from critical hits as well. S1 is just a single target attack that gives her immunity, which is very nice because you can't CC her that way. So just to summarize, guys, I know that's a lot of units that you see on your screen here. You probably don't even know what a lot of these units do. Keep in mind, Conquerius, #1, definitely go for her. Other 3 units are pretty much up in the air, but I personally recommend Arbiter Village at #2 spot, and then at the #3 spot between Little Queen Charlotte and Remnant Violet. If you like to play more bruiser heavy, and I guess in a way that's more reliant on RNG, then Remnant Violet's very good. He's very good in like protect the single DPS comp. So if you're running like 3 Soul Weavers or Knights around him or support units around him, he's very, very powerful. Little Queen Charlotte is good for tank busting. So if you are struggling against like Fallen Cecilia, Meteor Cowrick, and Apoc Ravi, she's a very, very good option to pick up as well. But yeah, definitely Conquerius, guys, #1. You definitely want to go for if you don't have her. Now for the 4-star ML unit, guys, Peacemaker Furious. I'm not going to really talk about too much about what he does. I have a video talking about my first impressions on him if you guys want to check him out. Basically, he relies on taking the first turn because of the fact that he needs to build a lot of focus to use his S3, which is extremely OP. Problem is, he is very, very slow. So not only do you need to build him fast enough to cut and also take a turn, you also need another ally or hero to take the first turn and then make it so that he can also take a turn, if that makes sense. All in all, I think he's pretty weak, but also people have to test him out, so maybe my opinion will change. If you get him while you're summoning for like Conquerius or Arbiter Village, good for you, but for the most part, I think, you know, not really going to be going for the pity for him, right? The guaranteed summon, definitely don't go for Peacemaker Furious, guys. Always go for the 5-star unit. It's way, way more worth it. Even if you don't get Peacemaker Furious and you really want him, you'll eventually get him just by playing the game, because Moonlight 4 stars, even though they're kind of rare, If you play the game a lot, you'll get them eventually from Covenant summons and from getting those gold transmit stones from these Covenant summons and using them for the Moonlight summons as well, because of the fact that the chance of getting 4-star units here is pretty high, right? 27.5, pretty high. So you will eventually get pretty much every Moonlight 4-star unit in the game. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video though, guys. Honestly, this is the best week to pull for it because, this next week is going to be Bomb Model Kana and Bloodstone. Bloodstone's very good as of an artifact, but Bomb Model Kana is free to play, so you don't really need her. But this week you get Assyria, which is a very, very powerful PvE unit. If you already have her, then you obviously don't want to pull this week. And Spirit's Breath is okay, but Assyria is way better than Bomb Model Kana, so this week is way better than next week. If you want to greed it out and wait another week and see what the week after's rotation is, that is up to you. But for the most part, that's pretty much it for this video though, guys. Hope you guys found this video helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.